This is the Detroit Red Wings. Riding a 9-year playoff drought in one of the most hockey-crazed markets in the world has created a ton of pressure. With the Yzer plan just falling short of the postseason last year, there was hope coming into 2025, but that quickly vanished. An abysmal start to the year that saw them go 13-17-4 by the Christmas break had them way outside looking in. Then they fired their head coach Derek Lalonde and hired Todd McLellan. Ever since, they have been the hottest team in the NHL and look like a brand new squad. So what exactly has changed for the Red Wings to become such a problem for teams to play against? Well, let's take a look. It has been a rough number of years for the Detroit Red Wings. Attaching themselves to the Bermuda Triangle of Mid with Buffalo and Ottawa is never a good sign. At the end of last season, this team came painfully close to making the playoffs, but ultimately fell short in a dramatic way. They won their last game of the season in OT versus Montreal, but the same game and empty net goal that got the Caps into the playoffs also eliminated the Red Wings. The Yzer plan fell short, but there was hope for optimism. Then the 24-25 season started, and their main issues that plagued them under Derek Lalonde was simply a god-awful PK and terrible 5-on-5 play. Let's start with that penalty kill. Every good kill starts with a strong denial on the entry. The Red Wings did run a relatively passive 1-3-4 check in these situations, so any entry with enough speed can beat that first checker and dish it off the wall for a potential 2-on-1 attack. Teams were blowing by that first checker, and because they can't slow the puck carrier down, it puts a lot of pressure on the wall and the D standing on the blue line to try and stuff that entry. With entries being no bueno, they also had problems when they were in their own end. In their own zone, they ran a wedge +1, which can be very effective if done correctly, as we saw the Oilers use it in their cup run. But basically in this formation, there's a triangle shape in the slot while the fourth player sweeps the area above the top of the circles. That player is essential for forcing the play to one side of the ice. However, if the pressure isn't quick enough and all four killers aren't cohesive in their aggression, one pass to beat that high forward leaves a man wide open on the other side of the ice. Under new head coach Todd McLellan, the numbers still aren't great on the PK. In the last 8 games under his watch, they've killed 10 of 15 penalties, which is still good for dead last in the NHL. But if you're Todd McLellan and a Red Wings fan, you look at the process and what has changed. That's because it will take time for this team to adjust, but here's some structural changes already. On the PK, the Red Wings are now playing a 1-2-1 on entries. Speed against the Red Wings was an issue before on entries, but look at how this Red Wing structure naturally drives Beniers, the puck carrier, away from the middle of the ice while taking away his pass options. By the time he gets to the dot lanes, he's basically screwed. He can try and split the seam, but good luck trying to do that. Or he can do this give and go option with his winger on the boards, but this Red Wings D has a good stick and has taken away that pass option for that give and go play that has been torching Detroit. So the only option he has left is to dump it in. He gives up possession, Red Wings puck, bada bing, bada boom, down the ice. There you go. The very same kill seconds later. The Red Wings do it again. And really, for the entirety of this game, they were stopping Seattle pretty well on the entry. However, there are still areas of improvement for this Red Wings team, as the one goal that did come against on the power play was off an entry. As you can see here with this lead pass, it catches 2 Red Wings forwards a little bit too high up in the middle of the ice. Sider, who's the right D here, gets caught backing up a little too much, and as you can see, that opens a gigantic gap for a cross-seam pass. The Seattle player does a fantastic job recognizing it, enters with speed, and scores on the power play. Now, these are mistakes that are going to be made no matter what in a 60-minute hockey game. But the encouraging part is that Detroit is showing signs of improvement, even if it does mean taking a little bit of time to adjust to new systems. Then you have their system in the zone. No more wedge +1, says Todd McLellan. They're using a diamond style PK. Now, Detroit's killers are far more aggressive when they need to be. 50-50 pucks, they're swarming with layers. Here, this is a dog of a shift from their PK. They're at the end of their shift, but I love their timing and their decision-making when it's time to step up. So as this puck rolls low to high, watch Andrew Kopp flex out to the top of the diamond and block this shot. Balls of steel, you need that to have a good PK, and then the puck bounces to the corner where Tim Stützle is going to have his back to the play. Now, as a penalty killer, these are the cues you look out for when to be aggressive. So Stützle has his back to the play. Both Sherratt and Comfort are going to get aggressive on him and try and double team him. Stützle falls or dives depending on what side of the fence you're on, and then there's a 50-50 puck. Again, this is at the end of a continuous 2-minute shift. All these guys are dog tired, but watch Detroit outman Ottawa in the corner. They get all three guys in there ready to battle for the puck to get it out. They win that battle, Seider then clears it out, and that's how they survive a dog of a shift. It's not pretty, it's not perfect, but it's progress. Now, the other thing that was killing the Red Wings prior to Todd McLellan was their 5-on-5 play. With offensive weapons like Kane, DeBrincat, Larkin, and Raymond, scoring should have been the last of their issues. And looking at their NHL edge stats, they were below the 50th percentile in pretty much every category. In terms of skating speed, they were well below league average, so generating anything significant on the rush became a challenge. The Red Wings had a lot of these type of anemic rush plays that amounted to nothing. The overall pace of this attack is just super easy to defend and read. The puck carrier doesn't attack on an angle or with much speed, so the D can gap up relatively easy, and the overall lack of pace makes it easy for Montreal to recover on the back check. The play just ends up going nowhere. The Red Wings were also below the 50th percentile in ozone time and well below average in terms of shots on goal in high danger areas. Under Lalonde in their attack, they would go into this 2-3 ozone structure. A lot of teams use it, but like most systems in the NHL, it requires movement, creativity, and pace to be effective. The Red Wings didn't have a lot of either. Oftentimes they ended up on the perimeter and were forced to take Hail Mary shots from range. And even when there was a potential opening for some creativity and extended ozone possession, they tended to lean towards throwing it on net with traffic and hoping things would go right. But things have changed under McLellan. Again, this is a big thanks to our friends over at Sports Contract and their team, but they averaged 9.5 slot passes per game and their time on attack was around 11 minutes and 15 seconds. That's not good enough. Under Todd McLellan, this has changed drastically. In just the 8 games, the slot passes have jumped significantly to 13.9 per game, and the ozone time has increased by almost 4 minutes. That is on par with the Tampa Bay Lightning, who hover at this rate and are the best offense in the league. So, what are the Wings doing differently? Well, the Ds are far more active as options. Now, because the Red Wings aren't the fastest team, they need to counteract that with east-west movement and options moving up ice. Here, Kopp and Kane are in on a 2-on-4. How do you make this dangerous? Well, it's through change of speeds and change of sides. He jams the brakes, Seattle over collapses, but the active D on the far side gives him an option to make a play into the slot. End result is a goal, thanks for coming out. With sustained ozone time, Detroit's forwards can now take the extra second with possession and look for a change of sides with the D being more active. Their support in the ozone and on 50-50 pucks has also been superb as of late, and it's why their ozone time has significantly increased under McLellan. This philosophy empowers your best players to be patient and work their magic in the ozone like Raymond does here. Again, he's close to provide immediate puck support, and he's constantly scanning to see where his options are once he gets the puck. Once he receives it, this is where the magic happens. Old Detroit would have funneled this to the blue line and probably would have taken a shot from range. But knowing that his D will step up and get aggressive on that far side, there's a play to be made there. So a subtle head fake to his own defender to get that Chicago player to hold off that lane, and then he's going to attack the seam that he created with that same head fake. The Detroit D gets active, it's a pass into the slot, and what do you know? Another goal. Combine this with some solid execution on the forecheck, Detroit's getting on pucks, winning battles, and finding dangerous options. The result is a brand new team. And then you finally have their bread and butter that has allowed them to be the hottest team in the NHL, and that is their power play. Clicking at a ridiculous 46% since McLellan took over, they went from the 11th best power play to second in the NHL. The Red Wings under Lalonde played the classic 1-3-1 that most teams use, but for the most part, they remained stagnant in their position. They got to their spot and stayed in their spot. Now, motion is lotion, baby, and it's forcing penalty killers to make decisions. Usually, Raymond in this spot would stay on his left flank, but no. He gets the puck, instantly climbs up high and to the middle to force this penalty killer to make a decision. He sticks with Raymond, and that opens up DeBrincat. Same thing, same game. Raymond gets the puck on his side, climbs up and into the middle, and again, it's decision-making time for Seattle. He attacks Raymond because he's threatening the middle. That opens up Seider. Seider now has all day to watch his favorite movie series, so that makes this killer get aggressive and open up Kane down low. You guessed it, it's another goal for Detroit. Here, you can see that Detroit isn't even married to that 1-3-1 formation. They go into this 2-3 spread, but look at Larkin motion all the way up towards the blue line, and the killer's getting a pretzel chasing him. The sick puppy dives right back into the slot, and it's in the back of the net. Movement creates chaos, and right now, it's chaos in Hockey Town because they are right back in the playoff mix. Whether or not Detroit can sustain this success and remain a problem for the rest of the league remains to be seen. This could truly just be a coach's bump. But based on the systematic changes and progress that they've shown in a short time, Detroit may be the real deal. And when all the chaos of the last wildcard spot settles, it could be the Red Wings who are finally the ones to get back into the dance. Quickly, I just want to thank our friends at Sport Contract for providing all the analytics for this video. They are a fantastic platform if you want to break down the game. I'd highly check them out with our link down below. And lastly, I want to thank all of you, the hockey community, for just supporting the channel and stepping up the last couple of days. It's been a whirlwind with the NHL blocking videos and copywriting videos, so I appreciate all of you stepping up on Twitter, YouTube, to just have a voice and support the creators. We all really do appreciate it. I love making this content. I don't want to change the content, but I'll always keep making it, adapt some way, shape, or form. But hopefully this video stays up long enough and doesn't get copyrighted at all so that we can keep making these types of videos. I love doing breakdowns. I love doing the weekly recaps. Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for supporting the channel and everyone else's channel, and we'll see you in the next video.